Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Canadian Football Central, CFL content for the fans, by the fans. Rick, we were saying in the other video that I may be a very happy man or a very sad man. Well, it turns out I'm a very happy man, Rick, as Mike O'Shea has re-signed with the Blue Bombers on a one-year deal, it looks like. But he's re-signed in Winnipeg. We got him for another year. I'm a very happy man. And there's a few reasons why. There's kind of a few benefits that come with this. Firstly, we have the best coach in the CFL. We keep the best coach in the CFL. That's good news in and of itself. Secondly, O'Shea is a magnet for talent. Players know the reputation that O'Shea has. Players want to play for it. If O'Shea goes somewhere else, the chance that certain talent decide to follow is not zero. I think the only way that Winnipeg loses O'Shea and is kind of like, you know what, that's fine, is if it's retirement. Because that means that, I guess players could retire, but they're not going to competition. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of interest from the Toronto Argonauts, of course, after Ryan Dinwiddie was essentially poached from them by the Ottawa Redblacks. Even a little bit of interest from the Ticats, who I think the Ticats knew they probably didn't have a realistic chance, but were kind of like, let's throw our hat in there. Let's see what we can get. You know what I mean? Let's stir the pot, see if we can get anything.
My understanding from all the tweets and videos I watched,
yes,
is that with Toronto, it was more of head coach and upper player personnel.
Yeah.
Whereas for the Ticats, it was more of a GM job because they're keeping Milanovic.
So I'm going to read out exactly what was put out by Dave Naylor. This is kind of some of the most accurate information that we have over on X. These are two tweets by Dave Naylor. Firstly, the first one, and I'm just quoting Dave Naylor here. Mike O'Shea met with the Argos Monday and Tuesday in Toronto. It's believed lots of possibilities were discussed, and now the ball is in O'Shea's court with the Argos willing to accommodate his wishes to land him. Could be primarily a head coach role, or could involve other titles and responsibilities. #Argos, #CFL, #Bombers. Dave Naylor then tweets out again. Argos are not the only team besides Winnipeg interested in O'Shea. The Ticats have requested permission to speak with O'Shea and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers assistant GM Danny McManus. Meanwhile, O'Shea has an offer on the table in Winnipeg. So Winnipeg offered him a chance to stick around, and O'Shea didn't say no. He said, I want to hear some other offers if I can, and then I'll get back to you on that, essentially. And so if we look at this third tweet by Dave Naylor, he said, I'm led to believe the Ticats' interest in Mike O'Shea is to see if there is a role for him within their organization beyond head coach. Again, because it looked like they wanted to keep Scott Milanovic there. They have some creative structures for football operations in the past, and O'Shea is not the only one with whom they are speaking about in 2026. So I think the Argos discussions they were very, very targeted with Mike O'Shea. Of course, with his history playing for the Argos for so many years, from being kind of from that area, there was naturally going to be that draw, that interest. And so the question is, why does he stay in Winnipeg? I want to first put out there no one will know. This is his choice. You know what I mean? So I ran into O'Shea at the Grey Cup Festival, as I kind of know a family friend of theirs, and it was very nice seeing them. They're very, very nice people. They always have been. And I know that they do. I'm not going to speak about their family necessarily, but I know they like it here. I know they like it here in Winnipeg, and so I think that was certainly a factor. He is a family man. He is exactly that someone could want from a father, from a family man. You know what I mean? And so I think that probably was an influence. That would be my guess. But at the end of the day, I think his connections that he's made in Winnipeg, this has grown into a home. I know that Toronto will always be a home for him, but I think Winnipeg in its own way has grown into a home for him. And I think kind of the relationships he has with some of the players and some of the management here. And it's just, I think another thing people need to realize, it's just easier. He doesn't need to move back. He doesn't need to learn a bunch of new names and get integrated into a new organization. He's done it all here. It's familiar. It's easy. And with all the negotiations he had with the Ticats and the Argos, he had all the leverage in the world he wanted. So whatever the dollar amount he wanted, he could probably get. And so the Bombers keep him around. And overall, I, as a Bomber fan, am thrilled with this news. What do you think, Rick?
So there's a couple of things.
Okay.
First off, is this his last contract?
I would not be surprised, as I think the chances of him potentially retiring at the same time of Collaros is not zero. And so I think it's also possible that he's like, you know what? I don't know what my plans are going to be in a year. Maybe he'll want to go somewhere else. Maybe he'll want a job that's not head coach. Maybe he'll want to retire. Who knows? I think he wanted probably a 1-year deal, so that way he had the flexibility to make that decision when he wanted to.
So the other things that came out today were that they also brought back his boss,
Kyle Walters. Yep.
Kyle
He's
Walters.
returning it as GM. Overall, good choice.
But also at the same time, you have the assistant GM, Danny McManus, who's current, I put that in air quotes, current assistant GM, who's, I don't believe everyone's re-signed to a contract yet in Bomber Nation. I mean, I could be wrong.
Nope.
But he has ties to Hamilton from the time that he played in Hamilton.
Well, and also
So
there's again from the Dave Naylor tweets that I had mentioned, it sounded like there was interest there. So just because O'Shea stays doesn't mean that everyone does, but it does mean that O'Shea and Kyle Walters will be sticking around.
But then
in Winnipeg,
what makes it interesting is, even though Kyle Walters and O'Shea have that tight-knit group with the Bombers, I'm curious to see what Danny McManus's tie is with players, because you got to remember, don't forget, Ted Gavea, God rest his soul,
yes,
also came over from the Bombers and brought 18 people with him.
Yeah.
So you don't know how close ties these people have with.
I wouldn't be surprised if some players
doors.
have a higher connection with O'Shea and some have a higher with Danny McManus. I think that goes on a player by player basis. So I think as kind of all the ducks start to come in a row, we'll have to see where everybody lands.
There's only two more comments that I want to make, and then if you want to close it, you can. Is where does this leave the Argos for their head coaching search? Because you also have to remember, there is a rule out there. I forget who it said. I think it was Dave Naylor that said it the other day. If you want to interview people from the Grey Cup teams, you have to wait 7 days after the Grey Cup. So they can't interview people from Saskatchewan or Montreal until next weekend.
Yeah.
They
got a whole off season.
The other thing that I was going to bring up was, it's going to be interesting to see who Bombers have as the coaching staff next year.
Yeah. Yeah, there'll be a lot of questions about that. I do want to put out there that there is a Jason Hogan is back graphic that looks exactly in the Bomber style. That is a prank that was put out by Bombers Paradise. It was a good prank. It fooled me for a second. I thought, no way the Bombers had the balls to post this. And then I realized that it was Bomber's Paradise who put it out as a bit of a joke just to try and scare people. So if you see, if somebody misrepresents that on Twitter, I'm mentioning it now for your own discretion. So
Carter will lose his shit.
I won't lose my shit. I will be very skeptical at that decision, but we'll have to see. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys join the Discord, as we have all sorts of CFL chat going on there, NHL, all other sports. Honestly, it's just a great community we're building there. I'd love for you guys to join. So make sure you guys join the Discord down below. And if you haven't already, leave a like on this video. Subscribe if you haven't already. And peace, love, and positivity, all you wonderful people at home. We will see you guys next time.